How did the Lombards become the kings of Italy? Historically speaking, we know of the Lombards from Roman historians since the 1st century AD as a tribe part of the Swabians in northern Germany near the Elbe River, although they lived in this area for way longer, as burial fields from the Iron Age are suggesting. Now, we could talk a lot about the different theories surrounding the Lombard origin, but why don't we just take a look at their very own origin myth instead? Once upon a time, a tribe called the Venili lived in northern Germany, but overpopulation caused them to split up and leave their homeland behind. One group landed on the Baltic coast and encountered the powerful Vandal people, who granted the Venili a choice between tribute or war. The brave and young Venili didn't back down, however, and were ready to fight for their freedom. When the day of the battle came, the Venili were far outnumbered, so that even the Lombard women, who dyed their hair in front of their faces to look more intimidating, showed up for the fight. When the Germanic god Odin, who was ultimately deciding the outcome of the battle, saw the Venili soldiers, he asked his wife Freya, "Who are these long beards?" Freya replied, "My lord, thou hast given them the name, now give them also the victory." And so, they not just won the battle, but also received their name. To go back to what I said earlier, the first mention of the Lombards dates back to the 1st century AD, but honestly, until the late 5th century AD, the Lombards should remain your average, ordinary Germanic tribe, sometimes fighting against the Romans like during the Marcomannic Wars, and sometimes refraining from doing so, like during the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest. Their story should really pick up pace in the year 489 AD, when the Lombards, most likely because of a series of bad harvests, saw themselves forced to abandon their homeland and set foot on an adventurous journey towards the south. According to the historia Langobadorum, they soon came across the Assipiti people, who basically said, "You shall not pass." You have to know, the Lombards were very smart and well aware that the enemy had a way bigger army at their disposal than they had, so they tricked them to avoid a full-out war by claiming to have so-called dog-headed people in their camp who were thirsty for human blood. Scared, the Assipiti agreed to only let the strongest men of each tribe fight against each other, which resulted in a fight ultimately won by a Lombard serf. When the Lombards next arrived at the former land of the Burgundians, another unexpected misfortune happened, as the Bulgars, most likely the Huns, stormed their camp, killed their king and subjugated their people. The situation was hopeless, but when a new Lombard king was named, the tide turned, as he was able to defeat the Huns and revenge the former king. Instead of plunging directly into Italy now, the Lombards moved to northern Austria and were later pushed to northern Bohemia, where they stayed put for about 30 years until they finally dared to cross the Danube into Pannonia, where they met their next foe, the Gepids. After some back and forth and a lot of hurt feelings, the Lombards and Byzantines joined forces and defeated the Gepids in 551 AD, and so Pannonia became Lombard territory. For now. Our story is climaxing in the year 568, as the Lombards finally fulfill their destiny and make it to Italy in one of history's most famous mass migrations, caused by the growing pressure of the Avars, which saw about 100,000 to 150,000 Lombards back in the bags and making their way from Lake Balaton through modern-day Slovenia into northern Italy. There, they were able, without much resistance, to conquer and transform this region into their own Lombard kingdom, which it remained until a certain Frankish king called Charlemagne defeated the Lombards in 774 and casually named himself the new king of the Lombards, and as such made it part of his Frankish empire, which marked the Lombards' end in northern Italy. But hey, their memory was not forgotten, and even to this day, this Italian region is still called Lombardy, populated by proud Lombards. Who's the winner now, Charlemagne? Anyways, I hope you liked the video and have a pleasant day. Bye bye, take care.